Okay, now welcome everyone. This is the SIG Network Policy API meeting of SIG Network subgroup. Today is the 29th of July 2025. Let's follow the code of conduct and be nice to each other today. Getting on with our agenda, here is my NPAP that's been waiting for a while to get some attention. Thanks to everyone who reviewed that already. It was LGTM by Bowie, it was reviewed by Sean, and I fixed the comments. So hopefully another LGTM will follow up.
I
Now,
LGTM'd it. I now have LGTM powers, so I LGTM'd it.
oh yay! Okay, that's great to know. Okay, so you see, we have lots of LGTMs now. The question is, does anyone want to merge that? Looking at you, then.
Okay.
I guess you also reviewed that before, so it's just the NPAP part. It does have the API part in the NPAP, which doesn't actually change the API, but tells about what's going to be done at the next stage. So yeah, please take a look. Let's merge this one because the next one with the actual API change will follow up right after when this one is merged. And thanks to Suri, it is unblocked now because our release has been tagged. So yeah, nothing else holds this change up. Okay, let me write that down. So
I think we should get it merged as quickly as possible, and we can do any fine refinements on the actual.
Yeah, there are some like comments and potential struct, whatever changes that could be done. Yeah, we can take a closer look at them in the next one.
From my point of view, it'd be good to bank like just a version of the new structs, so we can all go import them into our code base and start playing with them.
So that's what the next iteration will be about, right? So even before it's merged, you could potentially like try to test that at least. And yeah, as soon as it's done, people can start using that. That would be awesome. Okay, then Suri is next with this announcement that I kind of already spoiled.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that, we have that release out, so hopefully that should unblock us.
Yeah, great job. Thanks a lot for working on that. It's good that now we can break everything again. So that's cool. Okay, unless there is anything else on that topic, I'll move on to this review part, which is we haven't met for a while, so there are some things that we have planned for the V1 Beta 1 release. Again, this release that Surya just merged was a part of it. Now, this first enhancement here is the NPAP I've been just talking about. So I'm working on that one. Then there are two more. So this protocol support and double nil values are kind of part of the same job because it's about, oh, is it? Maybe not actually. Yeah, no, okay, PORS is a part of protocol rework, so they probably could be kind of done together. I was supposed to be working on that. I'm lagging behind. So if anyone else like really wants to craft some CRDs and new YAMLs, please let me know and go ahead. If not, I will try to catch up on that part of work.
Basically, yeah. Time now because I finished all the alpha V1 stuff, but if Boe is working on it, I don't want to take it. But then, if this is not having an assignee, I don't mind driving this.
Yeah, so he was suggesting to work on it, and I said more than a couple of weeks ago now that I didn't have the time, so he can, if he still has time. Yeah, let's see if he can join in like 10 minutes or so, as he said. Maybe we'll ask him first and then see. Yeah, otherwise it's still also quite a lot of testing because we basically, so just to remind everyone, myself included, we agreed during the last KubeCon to start our rework with the perfect YAML. Well, perfect may be a strong word, but the YAML as we like it, and then try to see if there is any adequate normal way to represent that using CRD. And then basically talk to the API reviewers also if that is reasonable, because some of the things, we are doing some potentially sketchy things in there. And usually what is a good CRD may end up being slightly uglier or more complicated YAML. So we wanted to start the other way around and then see if API reviewers would agree that it makes sense. Yeah, so that's basically where we are. It's all written down, like how we want that to look is written down here in beta discussion tab that we have. So yeah, anyway, whoever works on that, I'm happy to try and give any context, review that or whatever help. If not, then I'll end up doing that myself again eventually, I guess. Right, moving on with this review. So I think that was changing allow action to accept. Was anyone? Yeah, Bowie also, I think, volunteered to work on that, but they were no PRs. But that should be a fairly simple change. So again, maybe
Yeah,
we
I
can
think this
wait
should
for
be
them
very
and see.
easy for Bove. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a few of these are just blocked behind the release happening and your PR going in, Nadia. So we're not just having to rebase those dramatically. I bet Bowie's just waiting for your stuff to go through and then.
Oh, you think so? Okay, that would be nice. For me, usually I just forget that means, but yeah, waiting could be another option. I mean, honestly, rebasing my big change on like just a rename wouldn't be too difficult. So I actually wouldn't mind if that gets merged before. I'm
Yeah, I
very
think
used
the
to rebasing
rename can
stuff.
go in. Yeah, I should be able
Yeah.
to close that very fast.
Yeah, exactly. So that it, no one needs to wait and handle that later and make sure we don't forget. So that's our in progress NPAPs. There is one more here about API graduation criteria. I don't know. We wanted to write down like the documentation for that, or what was the idea?
Yeah, I think we wanted to write down what we discussed in KubeCon, but put it on a GitHub thing from the
Oh yeah,
comment, because in
we
the
do keep discussing it
original,
every time, right?
yeah, because in the original, let's say the first KEP, not the NPAP, but the KEP for ANP, they had criteria defined for alpha to beta. But given that we are not following that process, and I think we have our own process, so I think we are going to start with V1 alpha 2, if I'm not mistaken, right? But when do we make that API beta? Like we don't start with immediately beta, right? We graduate it to beta. And so to get it to beta, I think we had some requirements like there should be 2 implementations who implement it. And I think we had buy-in from Cilium and Calico. I don't know. We wrote some things down.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So I think we wanted to put
Yeah.
that
Also,
on a
this.
GitHub also. Like yeah. That one I think
Yeah.
we merged already. So we dropped the
Okay. Yeah,
extended
that one
ones
is
and
done.
yeah, all of that work, the work assigned to me, which I had volunteered for, is all done right now.
Okay. Well, envy you. So. Okay, then, all right, if standard versus extended definition we did document, then yeah, beta one, then shouldn't we do we have any disagreement there? Or do we need to just write down what we're actually doing? Because I mean, then it shouldn't be also too difficult.
Yeah, I think it's just writing down what we're doing. Is it, 2 implementations and then what else? Conformance tests and
Okay.
I don't know what else we had here.
Yeah.
Feedback.
Okay, makes sense.
We usually
Yeah. Well.
wait for feedback for alpha. I don't know if we need more feedback. I thought it's based on the feedback that we're doing these changes. So is
Well.
there like a time period where we wait for the community feedback, or do we just like put it to beta? I don't know. Like I don't know what the rules are. And what about scale testing and things like that? Like I know before GA we're supposed to do it, but scale from an API standpoint, I don't know what's a good way to measure that versus an implementation bottleneck, which is different, right?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I don't know if you mind then maybe doing that, hoping that Bowie will maybe work on the previous things. Then maybe you could just like write that down and we'll discuss that
Yeah.
in the PR, all these open questions basically. So we don't
Yeah.
lose also
So do you
what
want
we've already
do
discussed.
you want to do like a PR to call these things out? Like is that what, or do you mean on the issue itself? Putting a comment.
No, I mean you could, yeah, I mean if there are open questions that really need to be answered. Yeah, good point. Maybe just open a PR with like the document page, the documentation about that, and we just discuss whatever needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, or here. I mean, honestly, it doesn't make much difference, but just so that there is some place to talk about that and have the history.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this comment is coming from the graduation criteria on the KEP. And then you can see the each checkbox that I have, like gather feedback from developers and surveys. Okay, that was ongoing at that point. I think we did a good job at that. And then it said to at least two implementers must be, implementing it. And I think we had OVNCube and something else for, I think it was Antrea.
Yeah.
And then conformance tests also we finished. I'll evaluate the need for multiple subjects per API. I don't think we went with that in the end. Yeah, so I think most of this should be revisited, but on a different scale with beta, with the new changes that we are doing. Like, I think that's how.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't need to do that now, right? For beta, we just need to
No.
write that down, like
Yeah.
which parts we need to change and which parts can stay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can do I don't know, find some place in the website and I'll do a PR to write those points.
Yeah,
and we
that would
can
be awesome.
discuss.
Okay.
Okay,
Should I
so you can
assign that
assign
to-
this to me. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, now getting back here, one more thing. Tests. Well, test is always good. So, okay, that's some also follow up from the conformance testing, right? That we created quite some time ago.
Yeah, I think all the tests things, we know that we have gaps, but I think we need to, let's say, revisit all the area conformance label issues once the new API lands, because I think given that we'll have breaking changes, I anticipate the tests to also change drastically. But then it's good to track them because if you click on area conformance, that blue label, I think all the issues for tests are tagged with that. So it's easy to reopen the ones that are not resolved and things like that.
But okay, but I think there are some issues that were clearly outlining like the missing parts of our coverage versus what you said obviously also makes sense for the follow-up with after the big rework.
Yeah, but even the missing parts of the coverage, doing it now makes less sense because it'll be the V1 Alpha 1 API, right? So it's good to wait for the changes to land and then add the gap to coverage.
But it's a V1 beta 1, right? To-do list. So
yes,
for
in the sense
beta
that
is needed.
Yeah, all of this is needed for beta at the end of the day. Right. But what I'm trying to say is if the more tests we add, the more you're just going to have to change in your PR. It's better to like wait for the main API to land and then it's easy to add more.
Oh, no, sure. That makes total sense. Yeah. I just also wanted to bring up another part, which is so revisiting all the tests and like you will have to update all of them, I guess, after my API changes. So that's a part of that issue of combining ANP and BNP. Then we also know, so we had this problem of like bot auto closing lots of stuff that we've had. So we probably need to go through that, at least like, as you said, conformance tests and reopen the ones that actually still make sense. And then put them also here on the board.
Yeah, was there some label or some trick that one of you told where it doesn't close?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. The frozen life cycle is what makes it work, I think. So I've tried to put that here. I don't know. Lifestyle, right? Well, never
you were
speak
close.
and write at the same time. Okay, hopefully that's right. Some autocomplete would be helpful. So
okay,
yeah,
I
anyway,
think that yeah.
For anything we reopen and put back to this release planning, we also need to add this label to make sure it's not getting closed again. Maybe we can do that as a follow-up exercise for the next meeting or something. I'll just make some filter to go through all the closed rotten actually maybe.
Yeah, I think we can do it in the next meeting or something.
Yeah, and then make sure we are not missing anything. And now that we know this fancy label, use it. Okay, sounds like a plan. Let me write that down so that I don't forget. Okay, now the last thing that is here and not auto-closed is this one. So that is done or no? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
this is done. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Oops, I don't know why it's open. But is it because the PR was not linked, maybe?
But is it a different issue? Don't you have another one for like what we just did 1.7 or something?
No, this is the same
No.
one.
Okay, it's the same. Okay, because this one is
Yeah.
closed, so the PR should have been linked to the merged one.
No, I think
Something
that one
else?
is referring to the PR which Dan got Tim Hawkins to LGTM, and maybe the
Okay.
PR that maybe actually if you go to the repo, the PR that you see merged 1 hour ago or something, if you link it to this, you can
Oh,
close it, I think.
almost. Okay, where do you do that? Network.
Just yeah.
That one I know.
Uh,
Okay,
oh,
that
so
was quick.
Dan merged and
Well, you're supposed to
not
read
that
that,
one,
but
but
okay, I accept that one too. Yeah, and these points, it
I
just
think you can
doesn't
just link
point
this
to.
PR and
Okay,
close it. Yeah, I think those didn't wait for
okay.
those changes anyways.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I expect to see more things here when we actually bring the rotten issues back to life. If you can think of anything else that needs to be done, also please put it in here. In the meantime, so Boe is still not here, I guess. Maybe I'll ping him then in Slack and ask about this, well, a couple of issues that he's assigned to, and then we'll see if we can reassign them to someone else. Okay, well, that looks like a review. Then we can move on to the next one. Dan, you want to announce?
Oh, I mean, it's just pasting it here. But yeah, we have a talk at KubeCon. So we're talking
Yeah,
from alpha to beta. So hopefully we should have a beta, or at least a very imminent beta.
yeah. That's the idea. So the talk was accepted now. The small part is left. Just do the work for beta and we're done.
Yeah, now I'm like,
okay.
why did I put that in the title? Because it's
Exactly.
alpha to beta, and not even, and I don't even stop there. I say even beyond beta. I hope we can at least get to beta.
Well, it's beyond admin network policy, right? Because it's cluster network policy now, so we can always argue that.
Ah, good point. That's a good point. We can twist it like that.
Okay.
Who's doing the talk? Who's the presenter? Presenters.
I think it is currently listed as me, Nadia, Surya, and Bowie. But that's like potentially up for.
Yeah, we cannot Sean, right? If you're willing to come to KubeCon.
Which one is it? The one in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I can make it. Got the little one now, so I think I'll miss that one. I think Casey will be there, or I hope Casey will be there. Yeah,
We can invite him to hang out with us. Yeah, well, hopefully this time most of the work for beta will be done, so we won't have too many decisions to make at the KubeCon. Yeah, anyway, we'll see.
Yeah,
well,
I think
that's good news.
I think the part that is the only part that I would be concerned with beta is not the changes to the API itself, but will we end up with the 2 implementations that we need to graduate it to beta? We probably need to, I think from Calico's side, Sean, do you know if the release will be aligned in a way where we can somehow, let's say we get all the changes in within the next 1 month. It's like September, October-ish good enough before November-ish to
let me just
realistically
check.
speaking. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But also, I mean, I don't know, will we have the API finalized by the time? It is the question, I guess. So I think if we at least
I'm being too optimistic then.
Yeah, exactly. So if we at least agree on how the API looks like and have the conformance tests and some implementations like promising that they will do that, implement the API soon, then
I was
will be
actually
good enough,
expecting the
maybe.
API to merge by November, but maybe I'm being
Yeah.
optimistic.
Okay. Well, I mean, by November. Yeah, I mean, I think the most complicated part is that implementations need to be done. But also, if you have it on some like development master, whatever, unreleased branch, also could be good enough. Our changes are not too drastic,
Well, I
hopefully.
mean,
So
So we can release it as V1 Alpha 2 without having the implementations, right?
sure.
Yeah, I think that's
So-
also not a bad idea.
Yeah, so we can do that, and we can say that once it's been implemented and we have confirmation that yep, not totally insane, then we can call it beta V1 beta 1, and we can announce that at the talk. That so like if we can have V1 Alpha 2 tagged for KubeCon, that would be great.
I think that's not a bad idea, and maybe we can iterate a bit faster with V1 Alpha 2, so we don't have to worry about it being perfect because you're not actually getting it to beta till we are sure. But maybe, if we can tag V1 Alpha 2, I think that's a good compromise. At least we have alpha in the title of the talk fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not exactly alpha to beta, but also, yeah, good enough. But also, if we promise that this V1 Alpha 2 is kinda our beta candidate, right? We don't really want to change it later. I mean, unless we absolutely have to. Yeah. So anyway, let's try to get there. Okay. Well, let me then try to talk to Bowie in Slack to see if we need to reassign the other things that are in the list. And by the next time, we'll make sure the list of tasks is updated. Yeah, and then it looks like we are good to go. And I'll obviously, now that the NPAP is merged, I'll make the next iteration with the API change by the next time, hopefully. Okay, anything else for today?
It looks like our release is kind of mid to late September, something like that. So our code freeze is early September. It's not out of the question getting it in if we have some API structs to work against, even on a branch in the next couple of weeks, then I think we can have a crack at it, as long as there's someone around to try it. Like we've already got the ANP implementation, so kind of porting it to a new set of structs, I'm hoping is going to be straightforward, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that would be great if we do have some implementation by by the next KubeCon, I would say. But yeah, I mean, let's not be, I guess, too strict about that. Okay, yeah, anything else? We are at the end of our agenda. All right then. Well, thank you all for joining. Let's try to do some work by the next meeting, so we have some more tasks to close. See you.
Cheers, folks.
Thanks
Bye.
all. Bye.